Hello everyone and welcome to Momentum TV, a program dedicated to helping us all navigate the beautiful and sometimes complicated paths of our lives. For those of you who have been on the JWRP Momentum trips to Israel, well, you'll recognize some of us, but for those of you who we've never met, welcome. My panelists are women you all want to have coffee with. I know I certainly do. Right here on Momentum TV. Well, let me introduce our co-hosts. From Toronto, my old hometown, former Canadian national television star, who now is a much sought-after teacher and motivational speaker in the world, Adrian Gold. From Philadelphia, educator and international motivational speaker, Neely Cousins. And from Jacksonville, Florida, a Harvard-educated community builder, Andrea Mail. I'm Lori Palatnik, writer, speaker, wife, mother, and now your coffee date. Between us, we all have about 100 years of motivational speaking experience, marriage, and about 1,000 years of parenting. So grab a cup and let's get started. I don't know about you ladies, but I get a lot of questions. And even though we're all grown-up people, some of the questions I get from women are about friendship.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the question of the day. With all the social media and all of the easy technology, Facebook, Twitter, texting, why do I feel so disconnected?
Such a great question.
Truly.
You know when you're talking to someone and they're texting or they're checking their email and they think they're listening to you and they're completely not. They're just like, they think they're multitasking and you're like, you're not hearing anything I'm saying. I think we don't realize how much we disconnect from what's going on around us when we're always texting and email. And
Have you seen people, they're out for, whether it's couples or friends, that they're out for, what's everybody doing?
Checking their...
Everybody's like, everybody is like this. You walk down the plane before it takes off, everybody's like this, everybody.
Yeah, you used to sit and wait for the plane. And I don't know, you'd kind of interact or be in the airport, and now everybody's in their own world, isolated from the person next to them. It's like something has really shifted.
I have to tell you, I just got back from Russia. I was there with my daughter, and we were sitting in the park, and we're watching people, just like people watching. And it really struck both of us that nobody's on their phones, because it turns out just a small percentage of them have the smartphones.
Really?
Well, just being conscious and making an effort, and especially if you're modeling behavior for your children,
Right.
unplugging yourself, making time to sit and talk, and again, setting boundaries for the kids, saying, listen, at dinner, we don't use our phones. At night, let's read a book together, let's talk together. Because if not, I read something, I think it's Dr. Leonard Sachs, he wrote a book, Girls on the Edge, saying the number one cause of girls having anxiety is not feeling truly connected to anyone in person. Mm-hmm. So you only can do that like we're doing, having a dialogue.
I gotta tell you, I know that it's obviously easy to attack social media because it does have an enormous impact on disconnecting us. Like, really, we understand that in order to connect, you have to disconnect, ergo Shabbat, right? But I also know one of my sons, when he was a teenager, told me that he had to take his phone to a wedding. And I said, well, why would you have to take it? He said, in case no one's talking to me. I have to look like I'm texting someone because I don't want to look like a loser standing there with no one to talk to. So for some young men who are certainly not as verbal or is not as communicative, because women have more of a tendency to want to interact and men are, right? He made him feel it was a safe place for him to feel like he was distracted.
What about, here's a situation I saw recently in Carpool Line where children were talking about something inappropriate, and I saw a couple of children using their phones as a way not to engage in Lashon Hara, in gossip. So I'm not an advocate for constantly being on a phone, but I can see that it can be helpful for people that are more introverted. And also as parents, we also want to teach our children how to use it responsibly. So for us to see it's a vehicle for positive use as well as for negative.
So you guys know I don't have a phone, right?
You and
Talk
my
about
father are
this.
the last two people in the world who don't have cell phones.
So I'm just going to tell you briefly why, and I think it's a significant thing. Also, again, it goes back to raising yourself and your children according to their way. But I had a car accident, and I unfortunately hit a pedestrian. It was terrible. It's about 10 years ago. Yeah. And the fact is that I was listening to a radio program. I wasn't even on my phone. I was listening to a radio program because I remembered distinctly what the announcer was saying, and I thought, if I can be distracted by voices speaking in the car, then clearly the potential to be texting or speaking on the phone is when I'm driving is a problem. So I decided to give the phone to one of my kids. I took a phone fast, and I never took it back. And when I calculate the hours of contemplative silence, the ability to think, that's what's missing. Is that, all of this has its good uses. But the fact is, we can't sit. We can't sit. Just sit with our thoughts.
With our thoughts, with ourselves.
And
We
the
have to be
ability to
constantly.
focus. If we're constantly distracted, they
Right.
say for children in school, the number one thing they need to know now is how to focus.
See, but we're talking about and I think that's so important, but what we're talking about is social interaction. So I think that, everyone is so connected through their texting and their emailing, but feeling so disconnected. So clearly there's a correlation. Obviously, I hats off to you, 10 years without a phone, wow.
Yeah.
But if I don't answer my phone, everyone's like, where were you? Like, my kids need to reach me, my husband needs to reach me, I'm on the road. Phones are important. I don't think we should not have them. And at the same time, there's side effects to everything. And I think this lack of just talking to someone or being forced to talk to someone because no one's talking to you, I think those situations are part of
And
growing up.
just like what do we call friends anymore? Like the redefinition of I don't know about you. If you ask me how many friends do you have, I can tell you 4,782. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of a moment of inspiration, and we'll be back. Hi, welcome back to Momentum TV. I'm here with Neely Cousins, Adrienne Gold, and Andrea Mail, and we're talking about connection, disconnection, friendship, and I shared with everybody before the break how many friends I have, and it's gone up since then. I'm just going to check. Okay? All right, so really, like we say, she's my friend, oh, I have so many friends, what's going on?
What's the difference between a friend and acquaintance? How do you define, who are you really close to?
I mean, for me, it's really a very simple thing. If a person is going to be, when I need a friend, I need someone who refuses to collude with me. I need someone who doesn't go into the mud with me. If there's something I need to discuss, if I need to, what's the expression? I need to process something. I need that person who's truly my friend to help bring me to a higher level, as opposed to just rolling around in the mud with me. Oh, that was terrible. Of course, she's a horrible person. I can't believe she did that.
Like a yes man. Like Ed McMahon.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what? A real friend will call you on it and say, you know what? You're blowing it. Like, what's going on? You can hear it from. But it's so interesting how we can hear it from a friend, but we can't hear it from other relationships. Like if your mother-in-law, if your friend tells you, I think, what's going on? Looks like you're putting on a little bit of weight, and you'd be like, oh, you're right, that friend. No, you would say like, oh, oh my gosh, you're right, I got to get back on the treadmill. You're right, thank you for pointing it out. If your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law said the same thing, you would never speak to them again. Do you understand?
I don't want to hear that from my friend either.
neither.
Sorry, no,
Really?
no.
A real friend, I'm using that as an example.
If I ask, if I say, hey, then fine.
No,
also
a
when
real
we're
friend will
busy-
say, even when you don't ask, because they love you, because they care about you, they'll say, and I have,
You look fat? I don't know.
No, I'm using that as an example, lady.
They're lying.
What if you're messing up? What if you're messing up with your kid?
But
Don't
in
you
the
want your
world-
friend to tell you?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I say. I'm
Yes.
using it as an example. You're messing up in some area of your life. You want a friend to say, hey, that's a real friend because they care about you.
But also, real friends are people in your life who've known you at different times, and you may not see them all the time. You may not be able to connect with them on a daily basis. We're all busy. But you know when you see them, it's powerful. But if you don't have one-on-one time with them, it is hard to grow the relationship. But those friends that you've had from childhood or from college or different phases of life can still be your friend, even if they can't necessarily be with you when you...
Most of the people in our life, actually, are really, according to the Jewish definition of a friend, are really not our friends. They're our acquaintances. And acquaintances are good, we're supposed to, but acquaintances are often based on circumstance. We work together. Our kids were in the same play group, or we're neighbors. But once those circumstances change, remember like getting that summer job, and there was another girl who worked there in the office, and you went out for lunch every day, you told each other about each other's lives, and then the summer ended, and you went back to school, and you never spoke to them again.
You know, I don't know if it's so much about proximity. I agree with you. There's proximity, there's all kinds of things. But I do think that until you understand that a life led unshared, if you think that you are autonomous, if you think that you have no need to connect with another human being, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, you're not willing to make yourself vulnerable and raw enough to actually connect with another human being, you're not going to have a friend.
No, but the question is, like these people we call friends and all this connection, now we have some more connection than ever, like just a constant,
they're
except for
not
you,
real
because you're on the
friends.
cell phone. But, right, they're not real friends. So what is a friend? Can I ask you, can you be friends with somebody who doesn't share your values?
Well, I say yes.
I think you can. I think to a certain point you can, sure.
Yeah, there could be something that you decide is unacceptable, but for the most part, you can have people in your lives that have different views or different backgrounds and still be a friend.
No, you can have different views and backgrounds. I'm talking about values.
I think it depends again on how strict we're being on the definition of friend versus acquaintance.
The Talmud says if you have 1.5 friends in your lifetime, you're rich. 1.5, not 4,799. Okay, 1.5. It's telling you that chaver, like the word friend, is a heavy word. Like this is something that's not. This is my friend. You're my friend. Can you have a real, true friend who doesn't share your values?
I know I do. I know I do. I know that part of love is the ability to say, I don't agree with you, but I will not withdraw love because I don't.
I'm not talking about love. You can love a lot of people. You can love acquaintances. But when the Torah talks about a friend, I have to say that if you don't share the same values, it's a relationship. It's a relationship that maybe one is gaining, maybe both are gaining, but it's not really what a friend is.
I'm not so sure how I feel about that.
I
It's
guess
not easy to hear.
I guess I'm thinking like, what's the definition? I'm going to what's the definition?
what's
What's
the
the definition of friend?
definition?
And what's the
Make it
definition of
self-esteem.
values?
Yes.
You know, if you're saying like, they don't value human life, like, okay, not their friend. But
No, your values, your foundation of values. Okay, this is great. I love it. These are my
You've got us
friends.
thinking, Lori.
You're my friend, aren't you? All right. Okay, you know what? We're going to go. Let's go to the street. Let's have a moment of the street to talk about this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joelle Norwood with Momentum TV, and today on the Woman on the Street segment, we're talking to
Sara Romano from Mexico City. Hi.
Hi, I'm Betty Sandler from Mexico City too.
and we're talking about technology, social media, and it's great, but sometimes it keeps people a little bit isolated and not connected. What do you think?
Well, first, sorry for my English, which is not very good, but technology has been very difficult for me. My grandchildren are teaching me, but it's very important for my job, so I'm trying to do my best with it, okay? But I also think that you have to have limits. It's very important to work. It gives you tools to make your work easier and faster, but you have to have like your limits and to know where to stop, and it's like your personal job, but you have to be what you are, to keep on being in touch with people, to hug, to kiss, to see eye to eye. That's what I think that is very important.
And we're talking to also.
Betty Sandler. Hi, I'm really interested in technology, but I also feel that you lose a lot of touch with people, contact with them when you're in a conference and you're texting under the table. And if you're not listening to the conference, you get really lost. And by the way, like, I really like that statement that Lori made in the trip, that for Shabbos you disconnect to connect to Hashem, and also you disconnect to connect to people. And it's really nice, like when you put the phone away and you connect with people and you just talk to each other and just talk to each other and make fun.
No, I really, now that we have been like in the conference, I just close my laptop and it's like connecting with people and open your mind. It's not like being like connected to a machine. It's like start feeling and being yourself. I think just put limits in your life for everything.
And the networking you're making in the conference, it's really important for us. Like you get to know each other and do whatever Ottawa is doing there, and we can apply it to Mexico, and everything is really important for us now here. So I'm really disconnecting my family for a while because I need to apply this at Mexico.
Okay, you heard it here from the women on the street. Disconnect to actually connect. I'm I'm Joelle Norwood with Momentum TV. Hi. Bye. Back to you in the studio.
Welcome back to Momentum TV. We've been talking about connection, disconnection, friendship, and we just want to go around to our panelists for a closing thought. Neely.
So it says in Ethics of the Fathers, which is, tidbits of ancient Jewish wisdom, Kanei lecha chaver, which means acquire for yourself a friend. It says, aseh lecha rav, make for yourself a rabbi, but acquire a friend. How do you acquire something? You have to give something. You have to give something up in order to have a friendship. And if you're not invested, I don't think you can really have a real friend there.
Adrian.
It's beautiful. I'm sorry, it makes me think of something else. I was going to talk about how Shabbat is the capacity to disconnect in order to really connect. You're taking down all of the technology and you're going into the interactive. But what you said made me think of something my husband taught me. He's a contractor. And he said if you want to bond two pieces of wood together, you have to sand them both first. You have to take a little bit away from one and a little bit away from the other. And by doing that, when you put the adhesive together, they hold together. You have to take a little bit of your ego away and a little bit of their ego away, and to bond together, to truly become friends, there has to be a little bit of work involved in acquiring that friendship by removing your own ego and, sort of sealing yourself to someone else.
Beautiful. Andrea.
You've just made me, when you talk about Shabbat, the whole concept of what's most important in life. And there's a phrase that said, how do children spell love? T-I-M-E. So for meaningful relationships, we have to give what's most precious to us, which is time.
Beautiful, beautiful. There was an announcement made a couple of years ago. It was a family studies department on an Ivy League campus. And they decided, how they declare, like, it's not just Mother's Day, Father's Day, it's a Sweetheart's Day and Secretary's Day and all these Hallmark, make money days. Okay, so they decided they wanted Family Day, and they told everybody, what are you going to do on Family Day? You're all going to get together. Everybody's going to disconnect. Everybody shuts off everything. You're going to have dinner together. Okay, on this one night. They chose, March 22nd. And on March 22nd, we're going to have dinner together. We're all going to interact together. No one's going to go out. No one's going to be on their phones. And they're going to let's do this once a year. And guess what I thought? We do this every week. Welcome to Shabbat. All right, thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much. I love this. Please join us again for a cup of coffee, some wisdom, and a lot of fun.